Welcome all. In this session, we are going to discuss some questions of research aptitude from the last year exam, from 2020 June exam. Okay, let's move on. At first, here it is a question. Which of the following research is intervention based, cyclic in nature, and improvement focused? Here there are four options. First one is case study research, then survey research, experimental research, and action research. How we can answer this question? First of all, you should understand while we are doing or while we are answering a question from NTA NET exam, at first you should understand the key terms in this question. Key terms in the question. Okay. Here, which of the following research is intervention based? This is the first key term in this particular question. Then cyclic in nature. Here the second key term in this question. So in this question there are two key terms, intervention based and cyclic in nature. Mostly there are so many questions related to types of research, but how we can understand the types of research, how we can differentiate the types of research? Only based on key terms we can differentiate the types of research. Here we should understand there are two key terms here, intervention based and cyclic in nature. So let's move on to the options. The first option is case study research. What is the meaning of case study research? Case study research is the in-depth study about a particular individual or a particular group. So it is not intervention based or not cyclic in nature. So the option A is incorrect. Then the second one is survey research. Survey research most probably conducting to generalize an issue or to study about a population in detail or to correlate something and so on. So it is not a cyclic in nature or intervention based. So survey research also incorrect. Then the experimental research. We conduct an experimental research is to get causal relationship. It means cause and effect relationship. So it is not a cyclic in nature and intervention based. So the option experimental research also incorrect. Then remaining only one option, that is action research. What is the meaning of action research? Action research is some kind of applied research. It's conducting to solve a problem, especially in a school situation or in an industrial based research. While we are doing an action research, at first, as an experimenter, we are planning about an intervention. So the first phase of action research is plan. Then the second phase of action research is act. Then the third phase is observation. Then the fourth and last phase is reflection. So here there are four phases. First phase is plan. In this phase, the researcher would plan about the problem and would plan about the solution and so on. Let's take an example here. In a particular school, the directors or the headmaster decided to improve the quality of teachers. For that, what should do? At first, the headmaster discussed with some colleagues and decided to take an action. Okay. At first, the headmaster planned about a solution. So here, let's take a solution, just giving a training. Okay. For improving the quality of teachers, the headmaster planned to give a training. So here the planning phase. Then the next step is giving the training, that is action phase. Okay. Then the third phase is after the training, the headmaster or the authority should observe what is the result of training, what is the outcome of training. Is this benefit or is this not beneficial? For that, the researcher or the headmaster should observe the outcome of the action. Then after that, in reflection phase, all will discuss about the result, about the outcome of the action, and if it is beneficial, we'll move on. Otherwise, we'll plan another planning. Okay, it is the some basic of action research. So whatever it is, the action research will be the cyclic in nature and intervention based study. So here the option D will be the correct answer. Okay, which of the following research is intervention based, cyclic in nature and improvement focused? The answer is action research. So let's move on to the next question. Here the question, statement 1. Okay, given below are two statements. Statement 1 is qualitative research paradigm emphasizes participant perspectives and uses an empirico-inductive approach. Then the second statement is, in the same research project, it is neither possible nor desirable to use both qualitative and quantitative research paradigms. Here there are two statements. The question asking about, here these two statements are correct or incorrect. There are four options here. Both statement and 1 and statement 2 are correct. Then the second option is both statement 1 and statement 2 are incorrect. Then the third one is statement 1 incorrect but statement 2 is incorrect. Then the fourth one is statement 1 is incorrect but statement 2 is correct. So there are four options. Let's read again two statements. At first, I said that while we are reading a question, we should understand the key terms in the particular question. So here, qualitative research paradigm emphasizes. Here, qualitative research is a key term. Emphasize participant perspective and uses an empirico-inductive approach. So, in short, qualitative research uses an empirico-inductive approach. Is this statement is correct or not? Then the second statement is, in the same research project, it is neither possible nor desirable to use both qualitative and quantitative research paradigm. In a particular research or in the same research, can we use both qualitative and quantitative research? You're asking about that. So, is these statements are correct or not? Let's move on to the detail. At first, you know about the research. There are two paradigms in research. First one is qualitative paradigm and the second one is quantitative paradigm. Here asking about qualitative paradigm in the first statement. Okay. In qualitative paradigm, we are most probably collecting data in the form of words. Okay. And collecting data in collecting in-depth data. Whereas in quantitative research, we are collecting only numerical data. And we are analyzing with the help of statistical analysis and so on, whatever it is. Here asking about qualitative research paradigm emphasizes participant perspective. Okay, you know, in qualitative research we are collecting in-depth data, which means we are collecting the data from the past participants through interview or through observation or through any other tools in exact natural setting, and it emphasizes participant perspective only and do not consider about the viewpoint of observer or interviewer and any biases of the researcher. Okay, whatever it is, here in qualitative research emphasize participant perspectives only. Then it uses empirico-inductive approach. There are two approaches, empirico-inductive approach and empirico-deductive approach. Induction and deduction. In inductive approach, the researcher searching from particular to general. This is the inductive approach. Whereas the deductive approach means from general to particular. These are the two logic of the research, which means in deductive approach, there will be a theory or there will be a general conclusion about something. Then from that theory, we are conducting a research to ensure a particular statement in that theory or a particular hypothesis in that theory is right or wrong. It is the logic of deductive approach. Most probably, deductive approach is the logic of quantitative research, which means at first there will be a theory and there will be more hypotheses in a particular theory. We are conducting a research to ensure that particular hypothesis is right or wrong. That is the logic of quantitative research. Whereas qualitative research we are conducting to build a theory or to make a theory. While we are walking, we are seeing something or we are watching something. For example, something fallen down. Okay, you know about gravity theory. How gravity theory emerged? You know, while the Newton walking, he see something fallen down. You see, most of the thing are fallen down. On the basis of that perception, he built a theory about gravity, which means he see most of the things, most of the specific things are fallen down. Okay, these are specific events. On the basis of these specific events, he made a general theory. Okay, general theory about gravity. It is a basic logic of qualitative research. So, qualitative research following empirico-inductive logic, whereas quantitative research following empirico-deductive logic. Inductive logic means from the specific events to general theory. Okay, whereas deductive approach means from general to specific. These are the difference between quantitative and qualitative or empirico-inductive and empirico-deductive approach. So the first option is correct. First statements will be correct, which means qualitative research paradigm emphasizes participant perspectives and uses an empirico-inductive approach. It should be correct. Then the second statement is, in the same research project, it is neither possible nor desirable to use both qualitative and quantitative research paradigm. You know, there are two paradigms, a qualitative paradigm and quantitative paradigm. Then there is another paradigm that is mixed paradigm. Mixed mean in the sense, while we are doing a particular research, we use both logic or both paradigm, both qualitative and quantitative. We call it as mixed approach. So here asking about mixed approach, you can use the mixed approach. So this option is incorrect. In the same research projects, it is neither possible nor desirable to use both qualitative and quantitative research paradigm. We can use. So here statement 2 will be the incorrect option. So the answer would be third one. Let's read it again. The statement 1 is qualitative research paradigm emphasizes participant perspectives and uses an empirico-inductive approach. We know the qualitative research uses empirico-inductive approach. So statement 1 is correct. Then the statement 2 is, in the same research project, it is neither possible nor desirable to use both qualitative and quantitative research paradigm. We can use both the paradigm, which means we can use mixed method approach. So the statement 2 is incorrect statement. So statement 1 is correct, but statement 2 is incorrect. Option 3 will be the correct answer. So let's move on to the next question. It is about sampling procedure. Just read. Identify sampling procedures in which units are chosen giving an equal and independent chance. There are 5 different types of sampling: quota sampling procedure, stratified sampling procedure, dimensional sampling procedure, random sampling procedure, systematic sampling procedure. Here asking about giving an equal and independent chance. Choose the correct answer from the options given below. First one is A, B, and C only correct. Then the second option is B, C, and D only. Then the third option is C, D, and E only. Then the fourth option is B, D, and E only. Okay. Uh, let's read it again. The question asking about identifying sampling procedures in which units are chosen giving an equal and independent chance. Here the key term is equal and independent chance. Which procedure giving equal and independent chance? You know about the sampling procedure. Sampling means we are choosing representatives from the population. There will be a population, large population. From that, for the purpose of research, we are collecting only some particular representatives. Okay, representatives will be small. This procedure called as sampling procedure. There are two different types of sampling. First one is, there are two types of sampling: probability sampling and non-probability sampling. What is the meaning of probability sampling and what is the meaning of non-probability sampling? Probability sampling means while we are collecting or while we are selecting samples from the population, we are giving equal chance for all members in that particular population. This is the meaning of probability sampling. When we choose the probability sampling method, only when we are know about the population, exact number of population and exact details of population, which means when our population is known, then only we are using probability sampling. Then the second one is non-probability sampling. In non-probability sampling, we are not giving an equal chance for each and every member of the population. It is the meaning of non-probability sampling. When our population is unknown, then we choose or we are using non-probability sampling. Okay, so I hope you understand about what is probability sampling and what is non-probability sampling. So here asking about probability sampling, which means giving an equal and independent chance to be selected. This is the meaning of probability sampling. Then here there are 5 options. In these 5 options, which one is probability sampling and which one is non-probability sampling? It is about the question. The first one is quota sampling. You know, quota sampling comes under non-probability sampling procedure. In probability sampling procedure, there are 4 types, major types. The first one is simple random sampling. Then the second one is systematic random sampling. Then the third one is stratified random sampling. Then the fourth one is cluster sampling. These 4 types comes under probability sampling procedure. Then in non-probability sampling procedure, there are some different types of samplings. The first one is quota sampling. Then snowball sampling, then judgmental sampling, and at last convenience sampling. Okay, so there are 4 types of probability sampling, that they are simple random sampling, systematic sampling, stratified sampling, and cluster sampling. And there are 4 types of non-probability sampling methods. They are quota sampling, snowball sampling, judgmental sampling, and convenience sampling. These are the major types. There may be any other types, especially here coming dimensional sampling. Dimensional sampling comes under quota sampling. Okay, it is a specific type of quota sampling. Whatever it is, let's go into the question. The first option is quota sampling procedure. It is a non-probability sampling one. Then the second one is stratified sampling. You know, stratified sampling comes under probability sampling. We are asking about probability sampling, so B would be the correct. Then the dimensional sampling. Dimensional sampling is one kind of quota sampling. You know, quota sampling comes under non-probability sampling. That's why dimensional sampling also will comes under non-probability sampling. So C not the correct. Then the fourth one is random sampling procedure. You know, random sampling procedure, probability sampling. So the option D will be correct one. Then the last one is systematic sampling procedure. Systematic sampling procedure also comes under probability sampling one. So the option B, D and E only would be the correct options. So the answer is fourth one. Let's sum up what we are discussing in this question. Here asking about identify sampling procedures in which units are chosen giving an equal and independent stance, which means we are asking about probability sampling procedures. There are four types of probability sampling methods. First one is simple random sampling, systematic random sampling, then the third one is stratified sampling, then the fourth one is cluster sampling. So here there are five options: quota sampling, stratified sampling, dimensional sampling, random sampling, and systematic sampling. From these lists, only stratified sampling, random sampling, and systematic sampling are the correct options. So the answer will be fourth one. Then let's move on to the next question. What are the characteristic features of the quantitative research paradigm? Okay, here there are five options. It is hypothetical deductive. It is focused on natural settings. It lays stress on generalization to the population characteristics. It emphasizes numeric data from a large number of people. It says that the literature review plays a minor role but justify the problem. Okay, here what is the key term here? Here, what are the characteristic features of quantitative research paradigm? There are two paradigms, quantitative and qualitative. Here asking about the quantitative paradigm. Here asking about the features of quantitative paradigm. It is hypothetical deductive. At the first question, we discussed about hypothetical deductive and hypothetical inductive approaches. We said that the qualitative research follows hypothetical inductive approach. So sure, here quantitative research should follow hypothetical deductive approach. So the option 1 is the correct. Then the second one is it is focused on natural setting. We know while we are collecting data in qualitative research, we are approaching the population or we are approaching the sample and collecting data through interview or observation, which means it is natural setting. But in quantitative research, we are conducting experiments and some kind of research, especially in laboratory settings. So quantitative research is not conducted in natural setting, most probably. That's why here it is focused on natural settings. This option is incorrect. Then the third one is it lays stress on generalizations to the population characteristics. Exactly how we conduct or why we conduct quantitative research. The main purpose of quantitative research is to generalize the result. That's why the option generalization to the population characteristics will be the correct one. Whereas the qualitative research will conduct to understand the depth or the detail of the subject, not to the purpose of generalizing the research. Okay, these are the main difference between quantitative and qualitative research. Quantitative research conducting to generalize the research, whereas qualitative research conducting to understand the depthness of the particular subject and so on. Okay, so the option C would be the correct one. Then it emphasizes numeric data from a large number of people. Exactly, we already said that quantitative research collecting data in the form of numbers, whereas qualitative research collecting data in the form of words. So the option D would be the correct one. Then the last one is it says that the literature review plays a minor role but justify the problem. A quantitative research following a hypothetical deductive approach, which means there will be more theories and more studies regarding a particular study. Then we are doing research to ensure our hypothesis is correct or wrong. That's why we need to review more literatures. So in the quantitative research, for literature review have a major role. Whereas qualitative research is an inductive approach, following an inductive approach. That's why no need to review more literature. And so in qualitative research, there is only minor role for literature review, whereas in quantitative research there is a major role for literature review. That's why here the option C would be incorrect. So what are the characteristic features of quantitative research paradigm? The first one, it is hypothetical deductive approach. That would be the correct one. So A would be the correct one. Then it lays stress on generalizations to the population characteristics. C would be the correct one. Then it says that, then it emphasizes numeric data from a large number of people. D also would be the correct. So the first one would be the correct option. Okay, I hope you understand about qualitative research, about the difference of between qualitative research and quantitative research. So let's move on to the next question. The question is, what is the usual sequence of steps in the scientific method? It is asking about steps as procedure. Here there are 5 steps given. The first one is hypothesis making by identifying the variables. And the second one is felt need, which is creating the problem. And the third one is identifying the difficulty and problem statement formulation. Then the fourth one is data analysis and interpretation. Then the fifth one is collection of data using appropriate research tools. From these steps, what is the exact steps of scientific method? From what we will start the scientific research and where we will end? This is a question. So first one is hypothesis making by identifying the variable. This is one of the important steps in research. The research would be especially the quantitative research would be about related to a theory and so on. That's why on the basis of that theory we should make an hypothesis, and the whole research would be based on the hypothesis only. So hypothesis making is an important step. Let's write here the option A. Then the second one is felt need, which is creating the problem. Okay, when we will start a research? Only after we feel a problem, right? Without a problem we can't do a research. The problem is the basic stone of research. After that only we will make a hypothesis and so on. That's why the felt need, which is creating the problem, would be before the first one. Okay, so let's write it here, B. Then the third option is identifying the difficulty and problem statement formulation. After feeling the problem only we can state it. Okay, or we can formulate a statement about the problem. That's why it will comes under felt the problem. Okay, it will comes under after the B only. So let's write here C. Okay, at first felt need, which is creating the problem. After that identify the difficulty and problem statement formulation. Okay, after the feeling we formulate a statement regarding a problem. Then the fourth one is data analysis and interpretation. Okay, data analysis and interpretation will come only last. Okay, without data how we will analyze the data? The data analysis will come at last. Before that we will collect the data, or we should collect the data. So collection of data using appropriate research tools will before D. So E here. Okay, so let's take it. The first one is B, felt need, which is creating the problem. Okay, at first we feel a particular problem. After that identifying the difficulty and problem statement formulation. After that we formulate the problem statement. Then hypothesis making by identifying the variables, which means based on the problem we make an hypothesis. We make an assumption about the solution. Okay, then after that we collect data, collection of data using appropriate research tools. So after that E will come. Then after the collection of data, we will analyze the data and we will interpret the data. So the last one is D. So here is the order, here is the order of process B, C, A, E, D. Let's check it. The first one is A, C, B, D, E, not wrong. Then the second one is B, C, A, E, D. Okay, that's the right point. So here the correct answer is second one. Okay, I hope you understand the process of research. We will discuss in detail in another video about the research process and so on. Here we just discuss about the question only. I hope you understand the 5 questions we discussed about. So if you have any doubt and if you need any clarity regarding these questions, you can ask through comment box. We will answer it. Okay, thank you all.